I'm honestly tired of the mint green. I know stickerzoodesigns was known for the mint green panels and everything and the mint green booth, but I feel like it's just not working anymore. I think it's time for a rebrand. This is my new booth. It's pink. Hope you guys like it because this is what we're gonna be moving forward. The mint green, it had a good run. I was really inspired by all the other artists out there who had pink booths. I just felt like the mint green wasn't working for me. This episode here at Anime Las Vegas, we've turned pink. Here at the booth, Anime Las Vegas, and we've rebranded to pink for the sake of the April Fool's joke. If you couldn't already tell, yes, I am not rebranding from mint green to pink. I am just doing this for the video, but I do have a reason. I do want to talk about branding and why it is important in the artist alley and why I think it can affect a lot of factors into your sales, into your presence online, and a whole bunch of other things, to be honest. If you see me like just playing around with something, it's because I am really fidgety. I can't just talk to the camera. I have to like move my hands and I have to be touching something. It's like a really bad habit. I recently got new AirPods and I actually got a pink case for them just for the show so I could fit my branding for this weekend a little better. They're so cute. It looks a little red on camera, but I do have hot pink suspenders and bow tie on just for this event. And Kayla as well in the back with the pink top. Hell yeah. Now you're probably like, dude, Henry, this is insane. Why would you change your entire booth to pink? You really committed to the bit, and I promise you, yes. When I like to do something, when an idea pops in my mind, I'm like, I have to hard commit to it. I have to full send it. There is no half-assing making this display, right? This was not a cheap video to make. I really wanted to show what it was like to have a fully changed booth from mint green to entirely pink. Everything else I made that is pink, or everything else that I added for the branding, added up to a grand total of $426.28, some tax here and there. Over $400 to an entire rebrand. But there are a few expenses, so let me break it down for you guys real quick. If you're looking into starting your own booth as well, it is kind of important to know how much some of the things can cost. I'll also link everything down below in the description, so if you wanted to check out how you can get some of these items or reference them for your own branding, then feel free to do so. I'm gonna read off everything for you guys. So I got a tablecloth that was coral, kind of could have gone for pink, but it was $49.90. I got a custom-made banner from Post Runner for $106.52. I got a table runner from Vistaprint for $94.99. The rigid boards and the pink vinyl that I use for my stickers and my keychains, those panels with the Velcro attached onto the pink panels I have here, that all added up to $104.98. I grabbed it all from Michael's, so you can use those, or you can make your own custom rigid boards, up to you. I did DIY them. So when I was DIYing them, it took a few hours. I was able to use my Cricuts, which I have at home, to cut out all of the squares, the white squares. And essentially what I did was I took the pink vinyl and I layered it on top of a rigid board. The ones I use are a 12 by 12 inch paint canvas for acrylic paint, but in this case, I am using it for my display. And then after that, I added all the little hooks and the printed panels on there to display the stickers and the keychains. I'm not adding Velcro into this expense, but you could add it, so it's probably gonna be a little more than that grand total. The keychain hooks, you could use a few variations, but the small and dainty ones I got from Home Depot for $32.10. They came in a pack of 48, and it was about like $10 each. And then, of course, to make the skeleton of the display, there are these pink panels. You see a lot of them in Artist Alley, the panel organizers, the grid cubes, whatever the heck you want to call it. So that was a total of $37.79 from Amazon. Again, all the links are down below in the description, so if you guys want to check that out, please feel free to do so. But that is how much it would cost if you're looking into fully branding yourself a specific color. Now, a few points I do want to mention about branding. If you guys didn't see before, this is my normal table runner I've been using at a lot of my events, green, mint green vibe. And then this show at Anime Las Vegas, I'm using the pink table runner. Even though I've been very synonymous with mint green, it isn't super relevant right now to my sales that I am switching to pink because this is a new area that I'm in. I've only been to a few Vegas shows, not enough for people to recognize and remember me. So a lot of people that do come by, they're probably like, oh, this is a pink booth, super cute, and they'll spend time at the booth, look for the products that they like, and purchase them without really thinking too much about the branding. Whereas if I say we're in California, where I'm mostly at college events and such, if they saw a pink booth of mine that says stickerzoo, that would probably throw them off. They might not walk by and recognize it. I mean, heck, I'm imagining if I was walking by the alley, I'd be like, what is this? I've never seen this before. I don't know what it is at a glance, right? You would associate, stickerzoo, me, with mint green and not pink. I wanted to talk a little more towards the end of the show because I wanted to collect my thoughts about how I felt about the foot traffic and whatnot. It's currently 5:22. The event hours for Anime Las Vegas is from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for today and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for tomorrow, Sunday. The reason I wanted to talk a little more towards the end was I kind of wanted to gauge how the customers would interact with my pink booth since it is very drastically different. I do love the look of it. It looks amazing, honestly. When I first built it, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm like Volcano 2.0, I look like every other booth, but not really, because at least in this artist alley here at Anime Las Vegas, it's pretty small. There's only like about 60 artists. This is actually a stamp rally I'm in. So we're actually right here, and there's only a total of 60 artists. We're actually in the same hall as all the exhibitors and vendors, so it feels a little larger, but the artists are at one end and a little more exclusive to that side. And I do think that my booth kind of stands out a little bit with the pink. A few of the pink booths. I was imagining, how it would look if my mint green booth was here. I think it would stand out a lot more than the pink. With the pink though, I did notice a lot more kids were walking up. I felt like a lot more people were approaching my booth, and that could be placebo. That could be me like thinking, oh, because pink is a more approachable color, more people are walking up. I feel like when I had my mint green booth, not as many kids and families were walking up. I'm so not used to the organization system I have here in the back. It's an 8-foot table they gave us. Actually, it's funny because it's not technically an 8-foot table. They give you 2 4-foot tables and then you just merge them together and you slap the tablecloth over it. Tablecloth I got for this show, it's a 10 by 10 drape technically. But anyway, as I was saying, the organization system back here, because I got a lot more keychains, I had to make hella more panels. It was so tedious. We have about 140 keychains and I did not have enough time to organize everything in the back. So what I did was use the pegboard in the last video where I talked about self-serve displays and have it as the storage system in the back. I literally have everything, all the keychains just organized back here. And so when a customer, for example, asks, oh, can I get H1, right? We have it labeled right here. I just took some tape and a letter, slapped it on, and then here's everything for the H letter on that panel. This would be H1 all the way through H8 on the other side. And so when they tell us a keychain, it's actually pretty easy for us to give them the keychain without having to look through boxes in the back. Last year was actually my first year here at Anime Las Vegas, and I had a pretty dainty booth. It was about half a year since when I started doing Artist Alley, so I didn't have a whole lot. Obviously, I would expect to make a good amount more, but that hasn't really been translating well with other shows like Anime Los Angeles, AXGB, and Anime Impulse LA. So I was expecting, honestly, about the same numbers for this show this year. However, I will say it has been really, really good. We are making about double in terms of sales compared to what we made last year. And there could be a few reasons. Like I could say, yeah, the pink booth is drawing in more people, so there's more sales. But I will also say this year is a lot better for Anime Las Vegas. It appears to be at least 1.5 to 2 times more attendees. There is a consistent flow of traffic. There are a lot more people. This is their 3rd year of hosting Anime Las Vegas. Of the NerdBot events, obviously Anime Pasadena and Anime Riverside have been around for a bit longer, and this event is only just starting to achieve more notoriety in the last couple of years. Obviously that can be a good reason for why I'm making a bit more sales. More people equals more money spent around the Artist Alley. Why I think the event is bigger in general at Anime Las Vegas, I mean, I did see pretty long lines for a couple of these voice actors. All props to them, They're drawing in more attendees and then they get to shop here in the Artist Alley. Shout out to my friend Kalei of Dorkish, who I actually am going to be featuring in the next video. So tune in for that. We're gonna be at Game On Expo. I'll be talking about sharing a table and what that experience is like. But in the meantime, I did want to say, speaking with her, she was like a wealth of knowledge. I got so much insights. It helped me gather my thoughts for what I wanted to say on camera, which will be 3 things actually in regards to branding that I wanted to talk to you guys about. My booth is typically mint green, kind of synonymous with my online presence. A lot of people walk by, they'll recognize me by my booth, whether it's for the skits I film, the YouTube vlogs I make, and the branding there is very important. And on top of that, it is something that complements my art very well. For the pink, although it looks cute, it might not be the best color that complements my artwork. A lot of people have described my artwork as very like chewy and delicious, kind of like a snack. I don't think the pink complements my booth very well compared to the mint green. It kind of takes away from the artwork, if you will. Pink, I don't think it looks the greatest on my booth. I think the mint green complements my artwork a lot better. And for you, if you're making a decision on what branding to choose, say you started with a color and you feel like it's not really resonating with your artwork, you could always rebrand to something else that might suit your artwork and your designs more. If you're starting out as well, it's okay to pick something that is more neutral, pastels, browns, whites, and blacks. That way you can transition into something more prominent when you figure out your colors. Point number 2 that I wanted to make, be very intentional about the colors for your branding. I really wanted mint green to be my color when I first started. You might not know what color you might want as your branding, and picking that is not an easy choice. I have a couple friends who are interested in Artist Alley, but they don't really know what they want to pick for the branding. It feels like a choice you have to commit hard to. Don't be afraid to just start off with more neutral colors and then be more intentional about the colors you pick later. And then a few things here and there, right? You can always have a secondary color as well. At least for this one, I kind of went all out, just pinkified everything, white text. I chose not to have black font. I felt like it was too harsh. I know as much as sometimes we don't want to study color theory, it can be important to know what colors might be too harsh, especially if you're able to DIY it. I mean, granted, sometimes, you know, you're not able to purchase the pink panels you want. There are, like I said, the pink panels I purchased from Amazon, they're a lot darker of a pink than I thought. There are some lighter pink panels that you can get as well. But if you're able to design things like your banner and your table runner down here, then you can also be a little more intentional with those because you can actually customize them. I kind of went with the same pink all over, which was not the greatest. I think it might have been better that I adjusted the pink on the customization, maybe looked at the proof, or even ordered the panels first, saw the pink, and then adjusted the banner and the table runner according to that. The banner may look fine, but it also blends in with the rest of the pink panels. That might not be ideal. It might draw away from some of the artwork itself. If it's too distracting on the eyes when they're looking at the art, it might deter someone from buying something. Again, talking about overstimulation, talking about decision fatigue when someone is deciding what keychain they want. Oh, it's too pink. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave. I don't know if that would happen, but yeah, I mean, I have a lot of keychains here. The pink draws them in. Hopefully the keychains and the artwork itself keeps them here and they end up spending something, seeing what colors contrast better. I had the option when I was looking at tablecloths to purchase a light pink, a hot pink, and a coral color, and ended up getting a coral color. I knew that the pink panels would already convey the idea of a pink booth a lot, so I wanted to contrast it a tad more with the coral tablecloth. However, in retrospect, I do think that maybe the lighter pink tablecloth, for example, my table neighbor across from me here, that tablecloth right there might have looked a little better with the booth I currently have. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you're able to customize certain things or not. Guys, I'm losing it. I'm like, I was trying to tell Kayla like what things to put in the back. It's actually 7:13 right now, so the show is over, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like trying to record this bit for the vlog, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm just saying everything wrong. It's the end of the show. It's been on 9 hours. I haven't had any food beside the breakfast in the morning that we got. But anyway, the third point I wanted to make, branding doesn't exclusively have to refer to color. It can be a few other aspects of your booth as well. The color, of course, but like it could also be the patterns. It could also be the shape. Right now, it's all the colors. Everything is pink. The signage is pink. That might not be a good thing. Up here, my signage is pink, blends in with everything else. My signage down here at the bottom, where the sticker sheets are, self-serve here, pink, blends in. I mean, yeah, it's nice, you know, to have it be consistent and cohesive, but like if I wanted someone to see the signage, it might be a little better if that color is different, maybe completely red for the signage. That way it catches people's eyes. They know how much it costs. They know how much the keychains are. They know how much the prints are off a glance, and they're not having to search when they're already deciding between what products they want. They're not allocating any more mental energy to finding the signage. I mean, granted, like these are very, very small, minuscule things you want to think about. It's already a lot of information, but it's like, consider different colors, hues of colors, even for your signage. There's not really any patterns I'm playing with here. If you look at like some of my table neighbors across from me, they have patterns. Like over here, they have checkered cloth. And then over here, like contrasting colors, right? Peach slice, yellow with green. and some other shapes and such as well. And then my neighbor over here, pattern, checkered pattern, kind of like a picnic board, you know? I'm really hungry, so maybe that's why it's like inhibiting my mental energy and I'm like not able to think. It was weird because I was like, oh, I want to talk about these things at the end of the day when I've gathered enough information from the show, saw how people reacted to the pink booth. Now that I'm here, now that it's 7 o'clock and it's 9 hours into the con, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know, I'm just riffing. Hopefully something was useful. Okay, but I will not lie though. It looked good, don't it? Like, the pink is giving or not. I would definitely go back to a mint green booth. That's what people know me by. They're not gonna recognize the pink booth. It's just not gonna work. Switching branding is a really difficult thing to do. I had some friends who were forced to rebrand because they got cease and desists or copyright strikes and whatnot for their fan art. And it's not an easy thing to do. One, it's expensive, and two, you have to reintroduce your audience to a lot of things. People, when they see my profile picture, as far as I know, right, they recognize the mint green, the hamster, they're like, oh my gosh, I know this. But when they walk by a pink booth and it says stickerzoo, that's completely foreign, unless you're in a new state, right? Say I go to East Coast convention and I've never been there before and I don't really have an audience there. I might suddenly establish myself as a pink booth with a lot of cute animal stickers and fan art, but like, otherwise they don't really know, right? So, I don't know. Why are they looking at me like that? Stop. I'm just trying to talk about my booth, guys. April Fools, everybody. Okay, we're gonna go get dinner now because I'm extremely hungry. So we'll see you guys on day 2. Welcome back. It is day 2. 10:36 right now in the morning, and we have a couple orders, so I'm gonna get to it. We only have 2 sales so far. A little slower today. So this one?
Yes, and then 98 and 99.
It is notoriously slower than it is Saturday. We had to go walk by the outside line, and there was like a quarter of the people that were here yesterday. The same trend was for last year as well. Saturday was pretty amazing. Sunday was a lot slower. I'm expecting, hopefully at least, to make double of what we did last year because that was a trend for yesterday. I did have a couple people come by who watched the YouTube before and they're like, oh wow, this is so different. I'm used to the mint green. Why is it pink? When I was walking around the booth myself, I noticed that the things I'm typically looking for when I am going down Artist Alley is the table runner for their name or a banner and some kind of signage that indicates who the artist is behind the table. If I don't see that, usually I kind of walk by the table unless I recognize the color or the shapes of their branding. Very seldom do I see their artwork and recognize that first. So for a lot of people who are coming by my table, they're seeing the stickerzoo designs at the very top of my booth with the banner, or if they're looking down, they'll be looking at the table runner instead, and that also says stickerzoo designs. Very important that with your branding, you include your artist name, that way people can recognize it. In this case, because my mint green isn't obvious for people, the name is what they have to look for, stickerzoo. Yeah, yesterday I was like, we were packing up, I was telling Kayla like what things to put where, and I was like grabbing my iPad and I was like, can you put this in my iPad, but I meant my backpack. Very much so not coherent at the end of the day, but it is fresh in the morning. I can actually think, I can actually talk, we can actually chat, all the above. For lunch, I kind of killed it, but we had a Loco Moco from the same place we got yesterday. It's a small little nifty coffee shop called The Usual Place. And then we also, from that same coffee shop, we got a croissant. And also, check out this cookie. It's giant, look at this, size of my hand. In the morning, it's pretty sparse, not a lot of people. A couple people walking by, taking a look, but no one really purchasing. Kayla was saying it was like night and day, which I completely agree. Whenever an event is slower, I tend to crash out easier because there's not a lot going on. So I'm like, oh my God, it's over. I can't do this anymore. Welcome back to the vlog, Zookies. It is actually currently a little past the halfway mark. We're actually closing in on the last couple hours of the convention here at Anime Las Vegas. I'm really tired. So I am gonna take a nap here at the back of the booth. I've opened up a little area in the back here just for me to do so. But before I do take a nap, shout out to Kayla for manning down the booth.
That's right, guys. I am officially stickerzoo now. Most recently, I've actually had a couple of you say that you recognize me from the vlog, and I find like that's really crazy. Hi!
Chat, do we look similar? Hi. It's crazy, huh? Some people are like, oh, you look hella similar at Anime Night Mart, which she was my proxy when I was a proxy for Kelsey at NakaCon in Kansas. A couple people walked up to Kayla at Anime Night Mart, which was the same weekend, and was like, oh my god, wait, that's not Henry.
To be fair, I dressed purposely like him. I do think we already have naturally like similar clothing styles too though.
Anyway, I changed out of my shirt. I was actually wearing this underneath. If you guys don't already know, Yabai Society, the group we're staying with as well. We met them here last year at Anime Las Vegas for the first time. Stayed with them at an Airbnb a while back in August of last year. So if you want to check out that video where we lived with other artists at an Airbnb, we talk a little bit about room share, but honestly, it's just about the event. If you want another video like that in the future as well, let me know. If I room share with other artists for an event, we can record that and kind of talk about the logistics, the financial breakdown of that, and other feasible options when you're looking into going into a con, and because it can add up, it can be pretty expensive. Let me show you guys a tour of the back of the pink booth here. It's honestly not too different from how we do our normal shows, but there are a couple changes. As I've mentioned already in the back, we have the keychain pegboard in my mint green color. We have our main large prints over here, and underneath we have some restock of the small sticker sheets and prints here as well. Honestly, most of the space on the top is storage. I have my green buckets that I used. This was the storage for the keychains in the boxes that are down here at the bottom. Honestly, it's a little messy, I'm not gonna lie. The main station here in the front, laptop, iPad for drawing. Kayla's been working and Square Terminal. On this other side, Kayla mentioned to me how difficult sometimes it is to take the rubber bands off of the stickers for smoothness and easiness in transactions. I have laid out all the stickers 1 through 100 on the shelves here in the back. And so in each box, there's 5 different designs. We're referencing the spreadsheet here at the top. Anyway, that about finishes up the tour. Honestly, this is pretty plain over here. We have our wagon in the corner, our snack box, which we've been giving a couple to some friends, and our suitcase right here, and our duffel bag over there. My Solus Wi-Fi ran out of freaking data. How does that happen? I don't know. It says 0, and so I have no more Wi-Fi. I'm on my hotspot for the rest of the duration of the show. A little unfortunate, but we are using the Square Terminal. Super cute. I have decked it out with all of my little Twitch emote stickers. Wabam on one side, Hemi on the front, smashing that Twitch sub button, and then a little bit of stickers on this side because it is a swipe side, so had to keep it a little minimal. If you guys didn't already know, sometimes I stream on Twitch of me drawing or just chatting or just prepping for an event. I made a sticker sheet of all of my emotes that I have in my Twitch streams. Look at them, super cute. There's a couple hamsters in there as well, so if you didn't like just little pictures and faces of me with little descriptions like ah and yap, because that's what I'm good at doing, yapping, then we have 3 little hamster designs as well. 13 emotes of me is all you need. I don't think you need more of me in your life. That's fine, you know? It's okay, it's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna take my nap. I will see you guys in a little bit, and then we'll talk a little more about branding and the pink booth and whatnot. Maybe we'll talk to some friends and ask them how they feel about their branding, why they chose their branding. Anyway, here's a couple time lapses of how the show's going here today on Sunday. I have arrived at Calay's booth. I walked up, the table's mostly white.
It is.
Are you going through a rebrand right now? Or?
I kind of sort of am.
Okay.
It used to be very pink heavy, but I still had like a majority of white. For a while, I wasn't sure what route I was going. I just knew I wanted pink as like a color of my brand. And for a while, all my signage was just like 4 shades of pink. I was like, okay, well, I don't want pink tablecloths too because then it's just too much pink. And I have too many different colors going on that won't really look right with all those different shades of pink going on.
Yeah.
So I stuck mostly with white with accents of pink. And then with this new rebranding, it's more of like I don't know if it helps.
I see. Branding.
A little bit cuter, a little bit easier to accommodate different styles of items.
Yeah.
Definitely still have some pastel aspects. So I thought having a more neutral background rather than just a straight shade of pink would be, 1, easier for me to find cohesive colors throughout my booth.
Yeah.
And 2, just like look nicer with all the variety of products. Because I have too much variety. So I kind of have to be able to have my color scheme accommodate that.
One thing I want to pick your brain about, you know, you mentioned the different shades of pink, right? Even though you're all kind of under one color, primary color, you think it's bad to have multiple shades of pink for your branding?
I don't think it's bad, but I think it's noticeable. For example, your booth that as it is currently, your tablecloth isn't the same shade of pink as your banner and isn't the same shade of pink as your grid. They're all different shades of pink. You can see that there's an attempt to make it cohesive, but because they're all different shades of pink, it just kind of like makes it stand out in a weird way instead, especially when there's so much pink. If it was like maybe 2 shades of those pink and like a neutral color to like base it on, or to have those as your accent colors, they would flow together better. But you have a large banner and then your wall of grids, and all 3 are different shades of pink, so it's very blocky.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, I'll zone products. So if you're using color to guide zoning for your products,
color blocking,
I think it works. But when it's unintentional, it can sometimes work, and sometimes I don't think it's bad, but I think it just depends on how cohesive you're trying to be.
I think that definitely expands on my point when I was mentioning earlier in the video about being intentional with colors, because I didn't really think about the color blocking aspect of it necessarily. Another thing I wanted to mention, because you showed me your sign just now, right?
Yeah.
And there's a specific font you use, and I wanted to mention that in regards to branding as well, because I think a lot of artists have a specific font they would like to use, and choosing a very clear, recognizable font helps add to your branding in a positive way. I use Futura as my font.
What do I
Are you
use?
willing to share what you use?
I use Fredoka.
Fredoka?
Yeah.
Okay. These things are not only important just for the signage, but in general, people I think can associate your brand with fonts. Especially like if I'm making YouTube videos, the thumbnail with the consistent font is nice, and with your signage.
People won't realize that they're remembering things.
Yeah.
I might not remember why that font looks familiar, but I'll recognize it. For example, your shade of green that you use for everything. I'll be like, oh, that's the same shade of green like Stickerzoo uses.
As you mentioned, like for the normal congoer, for the normal customer who isn't paying as much attention to small details like fonts, they're unintentionally recognizing certain things and associating that with branding.
It's like Disney font.
Yeah.
You might not like immediately clock it as like, oh, hey, that's the like Walt Disney logo font, but you'll be able to recognize that it's like familiar.
Yeah.
I know we talked about shapes and branding. So for example, for my signage, it's like little things that will add up and just make everything more cohesive. For example, there's the name of the product or whatever it is that's being sold is very easy to read, very simple. And then the price I have in a different color, and it's separate and it's being blocked out by a shape. So that way it's something that stands out separate from this. If I just had this match the name of the product, it might be harder for them to immediately find it. People have a hard time reading signs at the best of times, so you want to make it as easy as possible for people to separate those two things and find that information, because not everybody's comfortable asking for it. So you don't want to deter them from browsing your products if they're worried about asking you about the pricing for your goods.
Customers are typically looking to browse your products and not your signage and how much it costs initially, which is why they'll often gloss over how much it costs, even though when the sign is like right there in front of him, it might not be as intuitive to see the sign, especially if you didn't change the colors or the font to be as clear for them. That's not their focus, is how much it is. They want what they're looking for, their fandom, the thing that they like.
So if you're talking to somebody, explaining a product, you still want somebody else to get assistance by being able to just read your grid. So like, for example, like I have wax melts that I sell, and sometimes I have to explain what wax melts are. And then across my booth, I have like notepads and lens cloths. So I have 2 signs for those that explain like, hey, I'm double-sided. Here's the price. Here's the deal I have going on. I try to make everything as clear as possible, because I know that if I'm stuck on the opposite end of my booth trying to explain the functionality of one thing, I'm not going to have another chance to explain the pricing and everything else. Like, oh, here's how the lens cloth feels, da-da-da. So I try to make sure that like everything is as big and visible and as separate and as easy to read as possible. I share booths often, so even on my signage, I'll have my brand name on it to separate me from my table partners, so we don't end up in an awkward situation of someone trying to check out with them.
Good insight. I like that. Thank you for being part of this little segment here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You'll see more of Clay and Dorkish next week
I'm
at
excited.
Game On Expo. So tune in next week again for that episode. Feel free to hit the notification bell so you can get notification when that video comes out, and make sure you subscribe so you can see more content from us. This is Kelsey of
Peach Slice Creations.
We're essentially table neighbors, but we're like just across from each other. And I mentioned earlier her booth was very unique in colors. I have to ask, because you have like a blue, a pink, and a green and a yellow, but they're all in like a pastel color. How did you decide on your branding?
So I like to think like kind of the little bit retro. So you say pastels, like very bright, very colorful. My logo was kind of like the retro clouds with fish. Like it felt chaotic but organized. So I wanted something to feel very knick-knacky but also like nostalgic, because I love a lot of the nostalgic animes and films, and that's kind of like where I've leaned towards for my direction. So I kind of wanted it to be bright. I had to choose, like I chose 4 colors as like my primary, but I know some people like they say stick to 2 colors or 3 at most, even for like art and stuff, but I wanted to go beyond that. So you'll always see like a mixture of the blues, pinks, greens, yellow.
I think the fact that the grid panels that you have are not too overwhelming in the colors, because it's like pastel, and even the tablecloth and the table runner, it's not so harsh on the eyes that it detracts from the art that you have.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
That was intentional?
It was intentional. I shop on Amazon a lot, and when I was doing my, I would say like tablecloth ventures, I bought a few different colors for it, of different greens. There was a lot of like brighter colors, and I did test it out for one event and instantly was like, that's too eye distracting. So I did find a very, like you were saying, more muted tones.
Your intuition is good.
Thank you.
It's kind of cool to know that the first tablecloth you had is not the one you use now, you know?
Correct.
You had to do a second run and figure out, I like this better than the first one.
Definitely. I'm all about exploring. It's about trying things and finding what works for you or what you just personally like.
When you design these, or I mean, I guess in this case it's just your runner and your tablecloth, you can kind of pick more between the options you have. Was that first, or did you do the panels first, the blue and the pink?
So honestly, I did the tablecloth and the banner first, and then the panels, like pink I knew I wanted, so that was the first ones I got, but I also wanted like a color splash. And because I chose my banner to be yellow, which I was torn between blue or yellow, so that's where the blue, I ended up finding the panels, and I was like, there's my blue that I wanted.
Okay, so the alternative for your booth could have been the yellow panels and then a blue runner.
Yes. So like the band, my runner, I was thinking either blue or yellow, but when I got these first, I really liked it with the green. So I was like green on bottom and then blue, kind of like if you think of the sky, like the earth sky. I definitely love to play around with my display, and naturally I feel like my colors are everywhere, so it kind of matches everything that I'm doing.
The last touch, the leaves.
Yes, the leaves have been there since the beginning too. So with the tables, there's some events where I will either forget to do them, or if I'm on my own and it's really busy, like I just don't have the time to set it up. But the leaves I did get, that was one of the first thing I've gotten. So it's been just about over 3 years now.
I like it.
I'm here to stay.
Very intentional. I love the look.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad to have learned a good bit more about your booth display.
Well, thank you for asking the questions.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being part of this. It is currently 5:19 now, a little bit closer towards the end of the show. That was awesome information we heard from Clay of Dorkish and Kelsey of Peach Slice. A little bit about their branding. Wanted to pick their brains on, how they came up with their branding and some insight into that. Hopefully that was helpful, to get a couple different perspectives as well. It's not just me yapping away. Since it's closer to the end of the show, it is a lot less populated in the alley right now. So we do have a little bit of time to do some fun activities, and then I'll talk about my conclusive thought about the branding as we're breaking down and such. In the meantime though, we did grab some merch from Daesign Studio, one of our friends. Look at that, cute pink branding as well. They specialize in keycaps, actually fidget toys. So 3D printed fidget toys that you can click. A lot of people are into that these days. I'm a fidgeter sometimes, but we have mystery boxes because we couldn't decide. So we're gonna open them on camera. Shout out to Dana of Daesign Studio for plugging us with this. And so now we're gonna open them on camera. Hopefully we get something exciting. Obviously they had to have the pink branding on here as well. Let's see what we got. Feels weird, feels like a duck. A duck!
I'm so happy.
Click.
Perfect.
We got the Psyduck.
If Henry was a Pokemon, you'd be Psyduck.
Why the hell would I be Psyduck?
Okay, my turn.
Okay.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh my god, I love Gengar. Okay, we have one more.
We have one more box. Was Zoe gonna open it or? Are we
Zoe, she wants Ditto. Oh my god, she's looking. She's Bulbasaur. He's so cute. So cute.
This is our final draw.
Yippee!
We're just gonna go to the next segment at the end of the show where we're talking a little more about our conclusive thoughts in regards to branding and how we financially did qualitatively compared to last year and why I think that might be. That is the end of Anime Las Vegas. We just finished packing up here. Shout out to Kayla for helping out with the speedy takedown. We actually finished everything within 3 to 4 time lapses, so around 40 minutes approximately.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not allowed to curse.
No, you can say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was hella fast. Thank you for Henry for letting me come out. Really appreciate it. It's been fun.
I think that the branding could have worked. Not really sure. I don't know the exact quantitative, qualitative analysis at the end of the day to this, but we do know factually that based on our numbers this year compared to last year, we more than doubled our earnings from last year. Granted, there are obviously, like I said, a few factors. Anime Las Vegas this year is a little more poppin'. It was not a ghost town. I do think the pink did play a little bit of a factor into helping our sales, but of course I'm not going forth with the pink display. So we're gonna throw everything away. I'm just kidding, that's crazy. It's a waste of $400. I could still use the pink booth. Say it's Valentine's Day, say it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know what it might be. We can use the pink booth for a special occasion. Branding does work. Hopefully this video is a little helpful. Hopefully you learned something about branding yourself. Choose your colors wisely. I like mint green and it kind of works out for me. I've become synonymous with it. But pink might not work for you just because it's a popular color in the artist alley. A lot of pink booths out there. You might not want to pick pink. Just pick a color that resonates with you. And if you can't, you don't have to decide on something initially and immediately. You could stick with whites and blacks and pastels. And then once you become more established with your brand, the more you feel in tune with your art and the colors that complement it best, that's when you can maybe decide on a new banner or a new table runner or a new tablecloth. Like Kelsey of Peach Slice said, that wasn't her first tablecloth. And for a lot of us, this isn't our first table runner. Yeah, it might be a little expensive, another $100 for a table runner, but it might be worth it if you're testing out your branding initially and then you want to switch into something that is a little more suited for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video about branding. I know it was an April Fool's joke. Shout out to you guys if you're still watching. All the Zookies out there. If you want to check out any of the other videos, the last one, oh my god, it freaking blew up. Like 40K views in like 4 days. I don't even know how you guys did it. That somehow it got pushed into the algorithm. I guess people love self-serve, but check that video out if you want to see a little bit about how I built a self-serve display for an anime convention and why I may or may not like it and may or may not reuse it. Otherwise, there are other anime convention and artist alley vlogs I've done before. Kaylin's in some of them as well. So you'll see her featured around in the past and in the future a little more. Otherwise, I'll see you guys all next time. Make sure you stay hydrated. Shout out to the Zookies. Bye-bye.